Hello gang, hello friends, hello gang friends. Welcome back, thanks for joining me today. Today we're doing Maggie Simpson. That's the noise she makes. Thank you for being here today. Today. These are the Simpsons we've done so far. I think I need to redo Marge and maybe Homer. They're kind of annoying me a bit. But we're going to start out with a blue to pink ombre. The blue is from a brand that doesn't exist, but the pink is I Heart NY from Madame Glam, where you can get a 30% discount along with a bunch of other nail places. So have a look in the description. In the description box, there's loads of codes and links for money off stuffs. So we're using the ombre brush to ombre those together. I've done 2 coats. Are we ready? Let's go. We're starting, you guessed it, it's the Simpsons, so we're starting with a circle. This is an eye, but we're going to imagine it's a clock face, because everything we do from here on out will be based off a clock face. So at 8 o'clock we come out in a straight line, just a little bit, and then from the bottom of the clock we do another straight line, and then we just curve them together. She's got a very little nose. And then from 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, we're coming up and round and then joining the nose for the second eye, which does sit a little bit higher than the first one. Okay, are we ready? We're ready to go on? Are you prepared? Now, at 8 o'clock on the left eye, we're coming down sort of parallel with the curve of the nose. Just a little shallow C, and now we're going to do another C, but flipped around, just like that. And then we have a U coming out of the C, and then ignore this little dash here. I don't know why I did that. That's her dummy. And now from the side of the dummy, we're going to do a little curve, just a tiny one. That's her chin. And from the far side of the eye on the right is where we started, if we were drawing a straight line from there. And we just did a curve to join that curve we've just done. And then at 4 o'clock, diagonally over from 4 o'clock, we're going to put her ear. Don't worry too much about this, because this is all going to be covered over in yellow, so we can sort of perfect that when we outline. And then we did a straight line to join the curve from the ear. Oh my god, it's going so quickly. From the centre of the eyes at the bottom, at the top of the nose, we've gone straight out and going through 10 o'clock. And then at 9 o'clock, we're going to curve, on the left eye this is, obviously, we're going to curve up to that line we've just created. And now from the left side of the eye, we're going straight up. This is to do her spiky hair. It's just the easiest way I've found to do it. And then we'll join that to the first one. And then we come even further up from there, just eyeballing it. And from 4 o'clock going through 11 o'clock, using both sides of the clock kind of helps us set the angle we want to do. So then we've taken that up, and then from the left side of the left eye, we've eyeballed up from there, and where they meet, that's where our point ends. And then bang smack in the middle of this eye, we're going straight up, and then from the same line on the other one, 4 through 11, we're going to make a mark and join it to the one we just did before. It's all about just getting the points right and then joining them all up. And now directly above where the eyes join together is the center of her bow, and we just did a little C for that. And then we're going to do a triangle on the left of it, and then a sort of soft triangle, a soft cornered triangle on the right of it. And that one is coming sort of in front of the middle bit of the middle bit of the bow. So the bow isn't the center of the bow isn't a full circle, it's just a bit of one. And just outside the right side of the bow, that curve comes up to the center, that point we've just done there, and then comes down to touch the other side of the bow. And then from the center of the eyes again going right, we're marking out where some more spikes will be. And then this one goes from through 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, or 7 and 1. And then we're just going to join all of that up. The length of the line you use to pull out from the eyes that we're using as reference, you have to kind of eyeball, but it's better to go shorter than you think, because you can always make it longer when you fill it in, when it's easier to see if it looks right. And then that line from the eye came out at 2 o'clock, joined on to the one before. And then we're coming where? Oh, this is from the top of the eye. It's about 1 o'clock, coming straight out and then bringing the next spike, this part of the spike from the one before, down. And then from about 4 o'clock, we're coming straight out. And this is, that's the middle point of the next spike. So we just go angle either side of it to get our spike. And then we come out a little bit beyond the ear and then horizontal to the ear. Or is that coming in at an angle? No, it's pretty horizontal. And then straight down and then in towards the neck. Just like that. Just like that. It does kind of make more sense when you're doing it, because you are looking at the eyes as a clock face and just bringing lines up from there. It kind of helps. So from under her chin, between her chin and the dummy, the bottom lip, I suppose that is. No, chin. We did a little C. And then we're doing her arm. So we've done 2 straight lines coming out and we're just curving to join them up. That's her arm. And she's going to have her arms open as if to say, pick me up. And then here we've got a little L, just an L that goes into the cuff. And then we'll bring it round. That's her thumb. And then we're going to come straight up and start to curve. Her hand's going to go off the nail. So these bits here, I don't have those outlined. I just have that as all palm. But it just pokes out her cuff. And then we have another C, which is hidden by the light line, which is annoying. You'll see it in a sec. And then a big C. That's her tummy. And then a little C for her neck. Similar to the same as, it's sort of quite mirrored images her body a little bit. So we had that little C coming out from the right side of her neck. And then in line with the hump on the left, the chest hump, we'll call it, is the bottom of her arm. And I'm just going to curve that a little bit like that. And then we follow around with another C that's flipped over. And it's a bit rounder now. I changed it. I don't know why. And then another C. This is just a bunch of curves, her body. So another C and then a smaller one coming out a bit further. And then we have this bit here, which is sort of where her foot would be in her onesie. And then the same on the other side, but we're going to take that off the nail. And then this bit here goes up a little bit because she's standing and then just kind of wiggles off. Okay, I got rid of those before curing. I also got rid of the white lines in her hair that we'd made just because I wanted to look and see if it looked too tall or too short. Okay, how was that? Was that okay? Now we're going to fill everything in. Curing as we go. I'm using, this is the white gel paint from Madame Glam. And we'll just fill in her eyes. I'll speed it up a bit because it's not teachable moments. But yeah, the hair, I know that the way I describe when I'm describing what I'm doing when we're doing the outlines, it sounds really confusing, but it is all just using the first thing you do. So using that first eye, or once we've got the 2 eyes and the nose on, using those as points of reference as to where to go next. This is, I just thought I'd show you how I store my gel paints in a little labelled case. I think it's just from Amazon or something. They're all the ones from Madame Glam. I would so recommend getting gel paints. I never used to use them. Yes, they're in rainbow order. But they're not, all the writing's not facing the same way, which is annoying. Need the yellow one. That's what we're going to use now to do all the yellow bits. Yeah, I never used to use gel paints. Used to use gel polish. But then since having these, they're just so good. They're so good for painting. I really recommend them. And you can get 30% off, so why not? Treat yourself. I was going to say something else. What was I going to say? We're going to do all of her yellow in yellow. We're going to do all of her yellow with the yellow gel paint, and then we're going to mix Sundays and the yellow gel paint for the second coat of her yellow. I'd rather do thin coats of yellow and do 2 coats instead of a thick coat, because yellow can be a bit of a bitch and will crinkle in the lamp. I've just found that happens more with yellows than any other colour. I do forget to do that bit above her eyes. I forgot to bring the yellow down, but I did notice before I put it in the lamp, so I filled that in. Yeah, I was saying just about using everything you've done as a point of reference, especially with the eyes, especially with this spiky hair. And I sort of figured this out when doing Lisa. You know, look at where the spike peaks, the top point of it, draw a line on whatever image you're looking at. I was looking at it on my phone, so I was painting on my phone. Draw a line down to a point that you've already done, and then you know that's where that spike, the top of that spike is. And then if you want to do a line coming out of the eyes for the top of the spike and the bottom of the spike, then do that as well, because you're going to paint over it anyway, or you can wipe off the lines before you cure. So we've mixed those 2 colours together now, and we're going to finish the yellow, and then I'm going to mix dynamic blue and white gel paints. Turns out it's the exact same colour as the gel polish I used for the blue in the background. So I needn't have mixed them really, but we did. I do like the consistency of gel paints for doing characters, but I could have just used the gel polish. I might have had to do 2 coats though. So maybe it was worth mixing the gel paint. So we'll go all over her onesie, and then her bow. So you see now her bow and her nose and her ear and neckline are all gone. So we didn't need to worry too much about that when doing the initial outline, but it's good. It's good to get it all on there when you do the outline, so that you can see if it's going to look right. And now for the dummy, I've mixed a little bit of white in with the red. The red was a bit too dark, and I didn't think the black outline would show up very well on it, so I just made it a tiny bit lighter. So it kind of is just a big oval with another sort of, with a U shape sticking out of it. But once we outline it, it makes it look like it's got a hole in it. That's quite cool. So I am curing, full curing as I go. So her bow, we've got a sharp triangle this side, as in the points are quite sharp. I made a note of where the bottom of the bow ends in relation to the spike on the left. And then we just had a little dash, a little comma for the middle. And then this side of the bow is softer edges, softer corners. And it does come out of her hair a little bit. I'm not sure whether I include that in the outline. But yeah, it's pretty much the same blue as the background. Never mind. So now we will breathe. Just breathe for a second. Okay. Everybody take a breath. It's so funny how quickly this goes when it took me ages to do. Like, I was sat there doing it for... Oh, it's hard to tell, actually, because I watch films or series and things, and I'll stop and pause and watch that for a bit, or just have a little break. So I could be sat at my desk for hours, but I don't know how long I'm actually painting for, but it's not 23 minutes, that's for sure. So we're outlining all these spikes, and then this bit here, we're just going to copy how we drew it in the first place. So we've got a big C, and then the U coming out of it. We're going to, just bring that round a little bit more, right round to where the bit protrudes. And then this U, we're going to go inside of those black lines on either side of it there. And I think I take it in a little bit more as well, because we want to add, so those bits there, make sure they go in a bit, because then we've got a teeny tiny little U inside that, and then we join up the ends of our U's, and then now there's a hole for the dummy bit. Cool. I've outlined her eyes off camera, and now we're doing the chin and mapping out where her neck starts, this bit here, which was sort of the same height as the top of the dummy. And then we have a little C, which was in between her eyes and like not the same height as her eyes, just little notes like that. And then the nose will add on as well. Oh my god, this is really monotone, isn't it? Sorry, I'm lying down, I'm very relaxed. Her nose, yeah, just outlined that, and the bow. So the middle part of the bow is sat behind that part on the right, so you can see the full sort of triangle on the right, and then not a full circle for the middle. And then I have come out of her head just a little bit with the bow, because that's what it did. And then the rest of the spikes, and then once we've done the outline, we'll do the shading and highlights for my favourite bit. Oh, we have little curved eyelashes, and I made note of where on the clock, I'm using inverted commas, those eyelashes were. And then dots for the eyes, which always takes me a few goes, because if you get it just a bit further over than you want it or something, then the character looks really weird. And then in the ear we have a J or a T, but all the lines are curved, so a curved top of the T and a curved bottom of the T. And then carrying on outlining, so we've got this little C here, back to front C, and then her arms, which I decided to give a little bit of a curve to. And then same here, another C. So yeah, it is quite mirrored. And then her chest there, so that black line comes into the arm, into the blue a bit, but not touching the little C above it. And then we'll outline her hand. So yeah, I got the thumb on and the start of the first finger, and then thought, no, I won't put any more finger marks on there. Didn't need it. And then just a little comma to sort of indicate a palm. And then these humps, these bumps come into the blue as well. The outline comes inside the colour. And this one comes, I think I've made her belly a bit too big, haven't I? Never mind. She's just had some food. The outlines on this side didn't come into the blue that much. They were just on the outline. And this bit here, just sort of, I just wiggled off because she has this little trail, doesn't she? And then there's a little line there. Just a little C. A lot of C's in this one. Now we're going to mix these two jelly polishes from Born Pretty. I bought a bunch of their jelly polishes recently and I love them. There's a code for them in the description as well. So we've mixed the yellow and the black, only a tiny bit of black, and we're going to use this for the shading. So it comes down from not all the spikes, just on the one where we started, comes down there, and then it comes up all the way over to just beyond her neck at the bottom here. And then there's some shading, some shadow around the dummy and onto her chin. And then I'm going to mix, that just comes around in a C, another C, a little bit on the bottom inside of her nose. And now I've mixed the black jelly with the blue onesie colour, just to make a darker shade of that. So we'll go all the way down this side. But then I realised as I get near the bottom that it's actually, the shading isn't as humpy as the outline. It's quite a bit straighter. So I just kind of straightened that out a bit. I think little things like that, when you're looking at a picture and copying it, is little things that make a difference for it to actually look like it's meant to look, you know. Oh, and there was a big bit of shading there, just another sort of C shape in shading, and then along the bottom of this arm. And then what else do we have shading on? Oh, now we're doing the highlights. This is the best bit. Mixing some white gel paint with the yellow, the mix yellow that I used for the second coat, and doing along the opposite sides. So all the shading goes to one side, all the highlights go to the other side. So it comes down her spikes, and this is what makes them look like shiny cartoons. I love this bit. It's great. And same as Lisa here, this highlight comes right down that side of the spike but don't get it on her eyelash. I went over the outline, so just scrape some off. And then a bit on her hand. I do a little bit along the top of the nose, on the inside, but along the top. Tiny bit down there on her cheek. Why are you spending so long doing that? And then we have the highlights for the blue. So we'll mix the white with the blue onesie colour. And it goes all the way along here. And it does, what's the word I'm looking for? It does curve underneath the chin. It doesn't go straight across. And top of her arm, and then down the left side of her onesie. I was trying to do this bit, trying to get right up to the black line. And no matter what I was doing, it just wasn't happening. My brain was telling my brush, go right up to the black line. And my brush was like, go fuck yourself. But we got there in the end. So we'll go all the way down the left of her onesie. And then there was highlights on her dummy, which I considered not doing it because it was so tiny. I didn't know if I'd get it on there, but we gave it a go. Thing is with doing lines. Oh, and on the bow as well. Tiny, tiny little bits. And even on the middle bit as well. Just the tiniest bit. If something looks like it's too small for you to do, just try it anyway. Because it might just work out fine. And it's a good way to practice doing tiny details by doing them. Practice by doing. So we've got I've mixed the dummy red with some white, and we're going to put some tiny little highlights in there as well. And I think, oh no, we're not done. We are going to do some very light grey crescent shapes along the side of the right side of each eye. And then we'll add some Simpsons clouds in the background, which you can see more info on in the Homer video, which is the first in this. I've created a playlist on my channel now for character tutorials. Character Wednesdays. I think it's just called character tutorials. And they're all in there. But I'll put links to all the other Simpsons ones in the description of this video. And there is Maggie. She's so cute. Not cute enough to make me want to have to look after one, but cute all the same. And here she is with the rest of the family. See, I need to do Marge again. I think I want to do one or two more. I might do a poll as to which one to do next, because I can't. There's so many I want to do and I can't decide which one, so I might ask for your guys' help. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it so much. That's the gesture for what shall I do next. Come and say hi in the comments. I do read them all and I love to hear from you. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Have a lovely day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.